Hey up everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Tonight I'll be doing my review of the game that finished a few hours ago between Parramatta and Penrith. This was week 2 of the 2021 final series. The winner of this match went on to play Penrith in week 3 preliminary final. The loser went home. This was the first time that Parramatta and Penrith had played each other in a finals game since 2000, and before that it was 1985 that on the previous occasion these two sides played in the final, so only the third meeting. It finished 8 points to 6 in favour of Penrith. Try scorer for Parramatta was Wonga Blake in the 10th minute, and for Penrith, Kurt Keatwell scored in the 17th minute. Both kickers, Moses and Cleary, kicked their goals, and Cleary got a penalty goal right on the stroke of half time. Second half there was no points scored, it finished 8-6. It's the lowest scoring game of 2021, and it's also the lowest scoring finals game since 2013 when Eastern Suburbs beat Manly 4 points to 0 there at the Sydney Football Stadium. I thought that this game was pretty much non-stop from start to finish. From the opening whistle, that first carry of the game and everything that followed was just at a very high pace. I think both sides, the line speed was spot on. The aggression and defence on both sides was there. The way that the players were carrying the ball into the defensive line was very aggressive, and I think that was just the tone for the whole match, and it was a match that was just based on defence. There wasn't really too much attack that was going on. I thought that to start off that first half though, I think Penrith were much better at their line speed and much better at getting over the advantage line and getting through their sets. Even though we got through our sets, it was a case of fifth tackle Mitchell Moses was trying to kick the ball from the 30-metre line and trying to get us out of danger, and Penrith just seemed to be getting through their sets. But our try, it sort of come off the back of nothing really, because Penrith were kind of starting to get on top, and then it got to a point where Moses puts up that floater kick and Blake scores off that, and after that Penrith kind of went in their shell for a couple of minutes but then come back out again. They managed to get a try which I think was a bit lucky. It was a case of we had some great scramble defence going on. We managed to shut them out, and then they managed to challenge that call because there was a chance that maybe one of our players touched it, which turned out that it did. And because they had a lot of possession and they had some sets before that, it was just a case of we couldn't hold them out forever. And right on the stroke of half time they got that penalty. At the time I didn't really think much of it, but looking at the replay and looking at sort of some of the still photos after the game, it wasn't a high tackle. Second half, I thought that it was actually reverse. I thought our line speed was better. Our forwards were getting over the advantage line a lot better than Penrith were, and we were the ones putting on the pressure and keeping them down their end. And Nathan Cleary was having to kick the ball from the 30-metre line or just past that to try to get them out of danger. And as I said at the start of this video, it was a match that was based on defence. There wasn't really too much attack going on, especially from the Parramatta side of things. From the Penrith side, they threw everything at us, but our defence and our scramble and our will to keep them out was, I think, spot on. I think it's probably one of the best defensive displays I've seen from Parramatta. We didn't get too many chances to attack at all, and we were getting through our sets all right, but I think we only made 1 or 2 line breaks for the whole match. There wasn't really much that Penrith were letting us have, and I think that's why they're the best defensive side in the competition from what they were seeing on Fox League. It finished 8 points to 6. I thought, I've seen some comments saying, I haven't really read what they've said on Fox League and NRL, but there's a lot of people saying that Parramatta were robbed. I don't think that we were robbed. I thought that the refereeing overall was alright. There was a couple of calls that I wasn't particularly happy with, but Penrith had 2 no tries in this match. The first one I thought was a try. Call me a bit daft, but I'm from the old school, and I thought that Moses actually, he made a challenge, but These days, all you have to do is just run if you're a decoy, just run at the player and just kind of nudge them or take them out, and it's deemed no try. And the second one, we were a bit lucky on that because Jerome Luai had to be he was in front of the kicker, and we didn't even get to see the put down, but luckily Jerome Luai was offside for that. But in terms of some of the referee calls that I wasn't particularly happy with, especially the one where Penrith lost the ball, and then they went, oh, hang on a moment, Parramatta Niakari's taking out James Fisher-Harris. But on the replay, what was Parramatta Niakari to do? James Fisher-Harris was running right at him. And off the back of that, Penrith ended up getting about 3 or 4 sets, and they nearly scored a try off that, and it really wore us out. And then on top of that, there was also I didn't really notice it at the time, we finally did make a line break, but after the game, and I was looking at a couple of videos, it appeared that Jerome Luai held back Mitchell Moses and it was missed by the referees. Looking at the replays, it was clearly a penalty. You can't do that. We've seen that all year where players take each other out, or players they tug at the shirt or out like that. You can't do that. That's it. That's a penalty. So I'm not particularly happy with that. And then there was also the incident with the trainer where we made another break towards the end of the match, and I think it was first or second tackle, and then the referee goes, our trainer on the field, stop play, Kenny's hit, and all of a sudden, as soon as the trainer comes on the field, looks at Kenny, he gets back up and then kind of walks off the field like now it happened. Same with Fisher-Harris, he faked an injury and stayed down. I know that Ferguson faked an injury as well, but that kind of, towards the end of the match, that was a really crucial moment, and I could notice sort of like on the left hand side of the screen that Penrith were a bit shot, but because the referee stopped playing, because the trainer was on the field, it gave Penrith a chance to reset the defence. And I don't know about you, but I've noticed for the last couple of years now, it seems that when a team's in trouble, the coach or whoever, and I think nearly all the teams do it, they send out the trainer and then the game stops. And I think that's something the NRL has to look into. But looking at some of the players for Parramatta that I thought played really well tonight, Clint Gutherson was one of the standouts. 247 metres he run, more than anyone on the pitch. For 28 runs he did. And you also had the likes of Hayes Dunster, 200 metres. I thought that he was very, very solid on the wing today. Regan Campbell-Gillard really stepped up, 151 metres. He had some really important carries. Paulo, despite that error at the end, 151 metres he made as well, big efforts. Ryan Mattison off the bench, he had a lot to make up for after that sending off against Manly. 135 metres off the bench, very good. And Isaiah Papali'i off the bench as well, 124 metres. Look at some of the players though that didn't play well for Parramatta tonight. Once again, Sean Lane, 57 metres he run for the entire match for 7 runs. Compared to Papali'i, who come off the bench and run 124 metres. That's not good enough. Nathan Brown, he had another awful game. I don't know what's wrong with him, but 27 minutes he was on the pitch and he was taken off, and he didn't come back for the entire match after that. And Ray Stone, okay, he made 42 tackles and he made some big hits, but he made some fucking crucial errors today. 3 or 4 crucial errors from dummy half, and then right towards the end, you could see Dylan Brown was calling for the ball out the back, and he wasn't paying attention. He threw the ball to Paulo, but I don't think he was really expecting the pass, and he put it down. But Ray Stone, definitely one of the nominations for the Paul Carriage Award in 2021. He had a fucking awful game, and I'm pretty sure he did Paul Carriage proud with that performance. Looking at I also forgot to mention Dylan Brown as well. I thought that he had a good game, Dylan Brown. He actually took the line on a couple of times, which I was really happy about, and he pulled off that try saver against Nathan Cleary first half. Mitchell Moses as well. A lot of people have said that he's choked and all this caper, but I thought that he had a very good match. His kicking was good, long and short. I thought that despite being on the losing side, he kind of made up for last year, the way that he played in that Week 2 semi-final against South. I thought that Mitchell Moses can say that he had a good match tonight. Looking at Brad Arthur, the head coach, I think he'll be safe. I think he'll be the coach for next year. One thing though about Brad Arthur tonight, once again, team selections were a bit strange. He decided to go with Sean Lane in second row, despite you can see the stats that Isaiah Papali'i should have been the starter. So that wasn't a good team selection by Brad Arthur. And then also not having Will Smith at number 9 and deciding to go with Ray Stone, who's not a recognised number 9. Another very poor team selection choice by Brad Arthur. I think he will be safe though. I think he's probably done enough this year to see out his contract in 2022. Also, I think a lot of people out there, this is the 3rd year in a row that we've been knocked out at this stage of the competition. There's going to be some people that are going to call us chokers and all this caber, but for me, I was actually thinking about the other day, in the last 3 semi-finals that we've played, the 2 ones against Melbourne and Penrith, we haven't been the favourites. We haven't been expected to win. 2019, we're playing against a Melbourne side who were the best team all year. We were playing them down in Melbourne as well. The next year, we once again played against a very strong Melbourne side at Suncorp Stadium, where they had that record where they hadn't lost for so many years there. And then this year, once again, we weren't favourites to beat Penrith on paper. You look at their side compared to ours and where they finished on the table. Penrith are no mugs. They finished on the same amount of points as Melbourne, so it was always going to be a tough match. The only time that we really choked at this stage of the competition was against North Queensland in 2017. We definitely should have won that game. So I would class that as a choke, but the other 3 games in a row, I wouldn't consider them chokes because we weren't really favourites to win them. But looking at this game as a whole, I think it's pretty disappointing because our defence was spot on and it was a very tight game. It could have gone either way. We had chances to win it and we didn't win it, and I think this one is definitely more disappointing than the loss against South Sydney this year or the loss against Melbourne the year before that. This was a game that we really could have won, and it's just one of those things where it's gonna be like a maybe if only type of a thing. When I look back at this game, it's gonna be one of those matches where I go, how would we have gone if we had Reid Marnie as the hooker or even Joey Lussick over Ray Stone? Because I think we really lacked a recognised number 9 tonight, especially Reid Marnie is such an important part of our team, and you could definitely tell that he wasn't there tonight. So very disappointing once again. Parramatta let me down on my birthday, totally fucked up my day, but I'll get over it, I suppose. But anyways, that's my review of the Parramatta game. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on the match. Anyways, this is Rugby League History signing off, and I'll catch us all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye for now.